Buenos días, buenas tardes, o buenas noches. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. My name is David, and starting from today, I am going to be your Spanish teacher. Throughout this course, you are going to learn everything you need to speak Spanish. That doesn't mean once the course is finished, you won't need to learn anything else, because that would be a lie. But I guarantee that if you watch all these videos, take a notebook and write down all the new words and all the new expressions that we learn in this journey of us, you are going to be able to have a conversation in Spanish. Let's start. Comencemos. Okay, guys, the first thing that we are going to learn in this course is how to introduce ourselves. Cómo presentarnos. Cómo presentarnos. If you want to introduce yourself, what is the first thing that you say? You say, hi, hello, right? Of course, it can work for introducing yourself or greeting a person. And in Spanish, it's also the same. It works for introducing yourself or greeting a person. And in this case is hola. Hola. Hi, hello. Hola. Another important thing that you say to the other person when you meet them for the first time is your name, because our name is the most basic information that we can give about ourselves. And in Spanish, we say me llamo. Me llamo. Me llamo David. My name is David. Me llamo David. I can also say mi nombre es. Mi nombre es. Mi nombre es David. Mi nombre es David. What is the most used? I would say me llamo. Me llamo David. But mi nombre es is also used a lot, so you can use whatever you want. Me llamo or my name is. And in order to ask somebody's name, you can say, ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas? What's your name? ¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cuál es tu nombre? ¿Cuál es tu nombre? And the other person can say, for example, me llamo Ernesto. Me llamo Ernesto. Or mi nombre es Ernesto. Mi nombre es Ernesto. Mucho gusto. Mucho gusto. Mi nombre es Ernesto. Mucho gusto. And you can say to that, mucho gusto, Ernesto. Mucho gusto, Ernesto. Or encantado. Encantado. Encantado and mucho gusto are pretty much the same. It's the same. Okay? It's another way to say the same thing in Spanish. Okay, guys, let's move on. Okay, another important thing when we are introducing to somebody else or greeting somebody else is how are you, right? The expression, how are you? ¿Cómo estás? Come on, repeat after me. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo estás? How are you? And the other person can reply, for example, bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? Bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? Fine, thanks. And you? And you can reply to that, muy bien, gracias. Muy bien, gracias. Okay? So let's move on. Okay, here we have an important topic, saludos, greetings, saludos. And here we have the most important greetings that we have in Spanish. Buenos días, buenas tardes, buenas noches. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening or good night. But good night, it's a goodbye. Now I am going to explain. From 6 a.m. to 12 p.m., what do you say? Good morning. Very good. Buenos días. Buenos días. Of course, you say good morning in the morning, right? En la mañana. Very good. So, buenos días, you say it in Spanish from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. Here I wrote in brackets from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. However, this is not necessarily completely true. For example, if you get up at, I don't know, 4 a.m. in the morning, and when you meet a person at 4 a.m. in the morning, you can say buenos dias. You can say buenos dias. But I wrote from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m. because 6 a.m. is a time that we usually get up. That's why I wrote it. Okay, the next important greeting is buenas tardes, good afternoon, buenas tardes. And we say good afternoon, we say buenas tardes from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. So we say buenas tardes en la tarde, in the afternoon. Okay, buenas tardes. Again, I wrote 7 a.m. because it's usually the time that gets dark. But you usually end saying buenas tardes when it's getting dark. And when it's getting dark, you start saying buenas noches. Okay, which goes to our next greetings, that is buenas noches. Good evening, buenas noches. And when do you say buenas noches? En la noche, en toda la noche. And even it doesn't matter if you are saying a greeting or saying a goodbye. It doesn't matter if you are greeting or you are saying a goodbye, because in any way you are going to say buenas noches. In English, we have good evening and we have good night, okay? But in Spanish, we have only buenas noches, greeting and goodbye. For example, if you get to a party and it's, I don't know, 10 p.m., you say to the people who are there, buenas noches. And if you leave at, I don't know, 2 a.m., you can also say buenas noches, okay? So it's a greeting and it's a goodbye. Okay, let's move on. Okay, my friends, practiquemos. Vamos a practicar, practiquemos. Let's practice. Because if you thought that with these lessons you wouldn't need to practice, my friends, I'm sorry to tell you, but you were completely wrong. You need to practice and practice a lot. Not only here while you're watching these videos, but in your everyday life. You have to think in Spanish. You have to have Spanish present every day in your life, in your head, in your mind. So, come on, let's practice. What do you say to a person when you meet a person from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m.? What do you say? Very good. Very good. You are smart. You are smart students. I knew it. I knew you were. Okay, you say buenas tardes. Very good. You say buenas tardes. And what do you say to a person when you meet them from 6 a.m. to 12 p.m.? What do you say? I'm sorry, I can't hear you. Very good. Muy bien. Excelente. Muy bien. Buenos días. Buenos días. Muy bien. And what do you say to a person when you meet them after 7 p.m.? Buenas noches. Very good. Buenas noches. And again, remember, it doesn't matter if you are greeting, if you are making a greeting, or if you are saying a goodbye. You say buenas noches. Very good. Okay, guys, let's move on. Okay, these are very two important words in Spanish. Sí and no. Okay, yes, sí, no, and no, of course, no. Okay, very similar to English. Only be careful with the pronunciation, because in English is no, and in Spanish is no. No. Of course, if you say no to a native speaker, a native Spanish speaker, this person is completely understand what you are saying. But anyway, if you are exquisite with your pronunciation, I recommend the best pronunciation possible. In this case is no. Okay, guys, let's move on. Here we have two more important words, and they are gracias and de nada. Gracias, thank you, and de nada, you're welcome. If you, for example, receive a present from somebody, you say gracias, and the other person will likely reply de nada. Okay, it's like that. And since we already know how to say thank you, I want to say gracias to you. Muchas gracias por haber visto el video hasta el final. Si te gustó el video, por favor no dejes de suscribirte, darle un me gusta y no te olvides de darle a la campanita. If you liked the video, please subscribe, give me a like and don't forget to hit the bell button. This is my first video on YouTube and with your help, the channel can grow. Muchísimas gracias. Nos vemos en la clase número 2. Adiós.